Welcome to Talk About It in English. I am so happy you are joining us today because we are going to tackle one of the biggest hurdles every English learner faces. You know that feeling when you are in the middle of a conversation and suddenly your brain just stops? It's like a loading bar appears on your forehead and you are frantically searching through a mental dictionary, trying to find one specific word. You know what you want to say in your native language, but you just cannot find the English equivalent.
I know that feeling all too well, Sarah. It is incredibly frustrating. You feel like you're back in school taking a test, and you just cannot remember the answer to question 5. It makes you want to just stop talking and look at your phone or find a way to leave the conversation. It feels like everyone is waiting for you, and the silence is getting louder and louder.
Exactly. And that's what we call the translation habit. It's when you try to build a bridge from your native language to English for every single sentence. But today, we are going to learn how to burn that bridge and stay entirely in English. If you want to speak with real confidence and stop the brain freeze that happens when people ask you about your life, you are in the right place. Before we dive into the method, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We release new lessons every week to help you talk about your real life, your job, and your plans without getting stuck in grammar rules.
It is true that subscribing helps you stay consistent, and consistency is the only way to break these old habits. So Sarah, why do we do this? Why is our first instinct to translate in our heads instead of just speaking?
It's a safety mechanism, Tom. When we are children, we learn that there is a right word and a wrong word for everything. When we start learning a second language, we carry that fear of being wrong with us. We think if we don't find the exact perfect translation, we have failed. But the truth is that fluency is not about being perfect. It's about being fast and being understood.
That makes a lot of sense. I notice that when I am translating, I am so focused on the grammar and the vocabulary that I forget the person I am talking to. I am looking inside my own head instead of looking at them.
That is the perfection trap. To break it, we need to adopt the 80% rule. This is our first big takeaway for today. The 80% rule means it is much better to say something 80% accurate right now than to say something 100% accurate 10 seconds later. In a real conversation, timing is everything. If you wait 10 seconds to find the perfect verb, the conversation has already moved on.
So if I want to say something like, I was disillusioned by the results of the project, but I can't remember the word disillusioned, what should I do? Should I just stand there?
Definitely not. If you can't find disillusioned, go for the 80% version. You could say, I wasn't happy with the results, or the results were not what I expected. Those sentences are simpler, but they communicate the exact same idea without stopping the flow.
I see. So it's about choosing the path of least resistance. Instead of trying to climb a huge mountain of complex vocabulary, I just walk around it.
That's a perfect analogy, and it leads us directly into our main technique for today, circumlocution. That's a fancy linguistic word, but it really just means talking around a word you don't know. Think of it like a game of charades, but with words. If you forget the word for colleague, you don't just stop. You describe the person. You say, the person I work with at my office.
I want to try this. Let's play a little game. I will think of a situation where I might get stuck, and you show me how to talk around it using only simple English that an A2 or B1 learner would know.
I love that idea. Let's do it. Give me a word that feels professional or difficult.
Okay, how about the word appliance? Like if I am at a store and I want to talk about a refrigerator or a washing machine, but I forget the general word for them.
Great one. If you forget appliance, you just look at what the thing does. You could say, the machines we use in the kitchen, or the big electronic things for the house. You are using basic words like machines, kitchen, and things to describe a more complex category. You haven't used the perfect word, but the person at the store knows exactly what you mean.
That feels so much lighter. It takes the pressure off. What about something more emotional? Sometimes I want to express a specific feeling, like overwhelmed. If I have too much work and I feel like I'm drowning in tasks, but I can't remember the word overwhelmed, how do I explain that to my boss?
This is where most people freeze because they want to sound professional. But remember, the goal is to be understood. If you forget overwhelmed, you can say, I have too much on my plate right now, or even simpler, I have a lot of work and I feel a bit stressed. You could even say, it is difficult for me to finish everything because there is so much. You are using the words difficult, finish, and so much. Everyone knows those words. It seems like the secret is to use verbs and nouns that are very common. Instead of searching for a specific adjective, You describe the situation. Exactly. You are acting like a painter who only has 5 colors. You have to mix them to create the color you want. You don't need a palette of 1,000 colors to make a beautiful picture. You just need to know how to use the colors you have. I think the biggest fear people have with this technique is that they will sound like a child. If I say the person I work with instead of colleague, will people think my English is bad? Actually, it is the opposite. Native speakers do this all the time. When I forget a word in my own language, I don't just stop talking. I say, "Oh, you know, the guy from the department downstairs, the one who always wears the red tie." Using circumlocution actually makes you sound more fluent because you are keeping the conversation alive. The most fluent thing you can do is never stop talking. That is a powerful thought. Fluency is the ability to keep the air moving between two people. If the air stops, the conversation dies. Let's practice this right now for everyone listening. I want you to think about your job. If you had to describe what you do without using any big industry words, how would you do it? Tom, tell me about your day, but you are not allowed to use any words longer than 3 syllables. Oh, wow, okay, that is a challenge. Let me think. Usually, I sit at my desk, I look at my screen, I write code for apps, I talk to my team. We try to fix problems. Sometimes the work is hard, but I like it. That was perfect. You didn't use any complex jargon, but I know exactly what you do. You are a developer who works in a team environment. You communicated the core of your professional life using A1 and A2 level vocabulary. If you can do that, you can talk to anyone. It actually felt more relaxing to speak that way. I didn't have to check my internal grammar book for every sentence. That is the English mode we want to stay in. But we also need to address those moments when your brain really does need a second to catch up. Even if you are using simple words, sometimes you just need 3 or 4 seconds to plan your next sentence. This is where bridge phrases come in. Bridge phrases, are those like and They are much better than and Bridge phrases are natural fillers that native speakers use to buy time. When you use them, you don't look like you are struggling with English. You look like you are thinking about your opinion. Can you give me some examples? I really need these for my meetings. Here are my top 4 favorites. The first one is, how can I put this? Use this when you are trying to explain a complex idea. It tells the listener, I have the idea. I'm just choosing the best way to say it. The second one is, it is sort of like this is perfect for when you are about to use circumlocution. It sets up the description. The third is, let me see. This is great for when someone asks you a question and you need a moment to remember a fact or a plan. And the fourth is, what I mean is, use this if you realize your first sentence was a bit messy and you want to try again. How can I put this? It is sort of like let me see, and what I mean is. I like those. They sound very natural. It feels like I'm taking control of the pause instead of the pause taking control of me. That is exactly it. You are leading the conversation. Let's try a little role play so you can hear how these phrases sound in a real conversation. Everyone listening, pay attention to how Tom uses these phrases to keep the flow going even when he doesn't have the perfect answer ready. Tom, I'm going to ask you about your plans for the summer. Okay, I'm ready. So Tom, are you planning to go anywhere special for your vacation this year? Well, let me see. I haven't booked anything yet, but I really want to go somewhere with a lot of nature. How can I put this? I want to go to a place where there are no cars and no loud noises. It is sort of like a quiet escape from the city. I was thinking about the mountains in the north. That sounds lovely. Why the north specifically? What I mean is, the weather there is much cooler in July. I really don't like the heat, so the north feels like the best choice for me. Did you hear that? Tom used all 4 phrases, and the conversation felt completely natural. He didn't have a perfect plan, but he kept talking. He didn't say once. He used those bridge phrases to bridge the gap between his thoughts. It felt much more confident. Instead of feeling like I was failing a test, it felt like I was just having a chat. I think if I can master those phrases, I will stop worrying about the silence. That is the goal. We want to replace the fear of silence with the skill of the pause. Now, I want to move into a shadowing session. Shadowing is one of the best ways to get these patterns out of your head and into your mouth. If you only listen to us, you are just studying grammar. But if you repeat after us, you are training your muscles to speak.
This is the part where you should really pay attention if you are on the bus or out for a walk. Don't be shy about speaking out loud. It might feel a bit strange at first, but your mouth muscles need the exercise just as much as your brain does.
We are going to practice a short conversation about a problem at work. I will say a sentence, and then Tom will repeat it. I want you, the listener, to repeat it at the same time as Tom. Try to match my speed and my emotion. Ready?
Ready. Let's do it.
Sentence 1. I have a bit of a problem with my schedule today.
I have a bit of a problem with my schedule today.
Sentence 2. How can I put this? I have too many meetings and not enough time to work.
How can I put this? I have too many meetings and not enough time to work.
Sentence 3. It is sort of like a mountain of tasks that never ends.
It is sort of like a mountain of tasks that never ends.
Sentence 4. What I mean is I might need some help finishing the report.
What I mean is I might need some help finishing the report.
Excellent. Let's do those one more time, but a little bit faster. Focus on the flow. Don't worry if you miss a word. Just keep going.
I have a bit of a problem with my schedule today.
How can I put this? I have too many meetings and not enough time to work.
It is sort of like a mountain of tasks that never ends.
What I mean is I might need some help finishing the report.
I can feel my mouth getting used to those phrases. It's like music. Once you have the rhythm, the words just follow the beat.
That is exactly what speaking a language is. It is rhythm and music. The more you shadow these natural phrases, the more they will pop out of your mouth when you are stressed. You won't have to think about them because they are already stored in your muscle memory.
So we've talked about the 80% rule, we've talked about circumlocution, and we've practiced bridge phrases. But what happens when you are in a situation where you really, truly don't know any way to describe the word? Like if you are talking about something very technical or specific.
That is a great question. Sometimes, even with circumlocution, we get stuck. In that case, you use your most powerful tool, the other person. A conversation is a team sport. You don't have to do all the work. If you are stuck, you can ask for help in a way that keeps the English flow going.
You mean I should just ask, what is the word for this?
Yes, but you can do it more naturally. You can say, I'm looking for the word for the person who handles the money in a company. You know, the one who does the taxes. And the other person will say, oh, you mean the accountant? And then you say, yes, exactly, the accountant. Now you have learned a new word, you have kept the conversation going, and you didn't have to switch back to your native language.
That is so much better than just opening a translator app on my phone. Every time I open a translator app, the conversation just stops. It feels like the energy leaves the room.
You are so right, Tom. The translator app is a wall. It stops you from connecting with the person. When you ask the person for help, you are building a bridge. You are saying, I want to talk to you, and I need your help to do it. People love being helpful. It makes the conversation more friendly.
So the rule is eyes on the person, not on the phone.
Exactly. Now, let's look at how to simplify our thoughts before they even leave our mouths. This is the simplification mindset. Often we try to say things in English that are too complex for our current level. We want to express deep philosophical ideas using the same vocabulary we would use in our native tongue, but that is a recipe for disaster.
I do this all the time. I try to explain exactly how I feel about a movie, and I end up getting frustrated because I don't know the words for cinematography or narrative structure.
Right. So the simplification mindset asks, what is the heart of my message? If the movie was beautiful to look at and the story was exciting, just say that. The movie was very beautiful. The story moved very fast and I was never bored. You have communicated the exact same opinion, but you used words that you are 100% sure of.
It's about being honest with your current level. It's okay to be a B1 learner. You can have very interesting conversations at a B1 level if you are willing to use B1 words.
I couldn't agree more. I've had amazing conversations with people who only knew 500 words of English because they were brave enough to use those 500 words to describe everything. They didn't let the words they didn't know stop them from using the words they did know.
That is a huge shift in perspective. It is not about what is missing. It is about what you have.
Precisely. Let's practice this simplification mindset with a topic we all have to talk about, our health. If you are feeling unwell, you might want to say, I have a pulsating migraine and a general sense of lethargy. but that is a lot of big words. How would you simplify that, Tom?
Let me try. I would say, my head hurts very badly. It feels like a drum. And I am very, very tired. I have no energy today.
Perfect. My head hurts, like a drum, no energy. Those are simple, effective, and very clear. Any doctor or friend would understand you perfectly. You don't need migraine or lethargy to get the help you need.
And the more I use those simple words, the more comfortable I feel, which eventually makes it easier to learn the bigger words later on. It is like building a house. You need the foundation first.
Exactly. You can't put a roof on a house that has no walls. The simple words are your walls. The complex words are the decorations you add later. Now, let's put everything together into one final scenario. I want you to imagine you are at a party. You meet someone new and they ask you, "So what do you do for fun when you aren't working?"
Okay, I'm going to use the 80% rule, circumlocution if I forget a word, and maybe a bridge phrase to start.
Let's hear it.
Well, let me see. I have a few hobbies. Actually, I really love... How can I put this? I love to make food that comes from the ground. I have a small space behind my house with plants. I grow my own tomatoes and peppers. It is sort of like a mini farm. It makes me feel very relaxed.
That was fantastic. You didn't use the word gardening or agriculture, but you described the hobby so well that I could see it in my mind. Food that comes from the ground is a beautiful way to describe vegetables.
I actually forgot the word gardening for a second there. But instead of panicking, I just thought about what gardening actually is. It's just plants and dirt and food.
And that is the secret. That is how you stop thinking and start talking. You focus on the reality of the thing, not the label of the thing. Labels are just for dictionaries. Real life is about the things themselves.
I feel like I have a whole new set of tools now. It's not about studying more grammar. It's about using the English I already have in a smarter way.
That is the whole mission of this channel. We want you to speak about your life in English, not just study English. You have worked hard to learn these words. Now it is time to let them work for you.
So, what is the next step for everyone listening? We don't want them to just turn off this audio and go back to their old habits.
I have a challenge for you. It's the 24-hour No Translator Challenge. For the next 24 hours, I want you to delete your translator app. Not literally, but don't open it. If you are speaking English, or even if you are just thinking in English, and you forget a word, do not look it up. Instead, I want you to use circumlocution. Describe the word using 3 simple sentences.
That sounds tough, but I think it's the only way to break the habit. If you always have a crutch, you will never learn to walk on your own.
Exactly. If you forget the word for umbrella, say the thing for the rain. If you forget the word for exhausted, say I need to sleep for 1,000 years. Get creative. Have fun with it. And then I want you to come back to this video and leave a comment. Tell us which word you successfully talked around today. We want to see your creative descriptions.
I'm going to do the challenge too. I'm going to see how many things I can describe without using their real names. It's actually kind of a fun way to look at the world.
It really is. It makes you realize how much you actually know. You have so much English inside you already. You just need to give yourself permission to use it, even if it's not perfect. Remember, the goal of language is connection. If you can connect with another person, you have succeeded.
This has been so helpful, Sarah. I feel much more ready to face my meetings tomorrow. No more loading bars on my forehead.
I love to hear that. And for everyone listening, if you found this helpful, please like this video and share it with a friend who is also struggling to get past that B1 plateau. The more we practice these techniques together, the more confident we all become.
And don't forget to click that bell icon so you never miss a new topic. We'll be back next week to help you talk about another part of your real life in natural, clear English.
You are doing much better than you think you are. Keep moving your mouth, keep taking risks, and most importantly, keep talking. Every mistake you make is just proof that you are brave enough to try. That is so true. Every conversation is a step forward, even the messy ones, especially the messy ones. That is where the real learning happens. So go out there, try the challenge, and we will see you in the next episode. Can't wait to read those comments and see what words you all describe. It's going to be great. Until next time, happy speaking. See you later, everyone. You know, Tom, I was just thinking about how important that eyes on the person rule really is. Have you ever noticed how much people use their hands when they can't find a word? Oh, all the time. Body language is like the ultimate circumlocution. If I can't find the word for heavy, I just act like I'm carrying a giant rock. Exactly. That is another part of being a team with the person you are talking to. You use your words, your hands, your face. It's all part of the communication. It makes it more like a performance. And that takes the pressure off the grammar too. If my face is showing that I am happy, I don't need to worry if I use the right tense for the word joy. That is a great point. We communicate so much through our tone and our energy. If you are enthusiastic and friendly, people will help you find the words you need. They won't be judging your mistakes. They will be enjoying your company. I think that's the biggest takeaway for me today. People want to talk to me, not to a perfect English-speaking robot. 100%. We are humans talking to humans. Let's keep it that way. I feel much more relaxed now. I'm actually looking forward to my next English conversation instead of dreading it. That is the best outcome we could hope for. We want you to love your life in English. It's not just a subject to study. It's a world to live in. Well said. I think we've given everyone a lot to think about, or rather, a lot to stop thinking about and just start doing. Exactly. Less thinking, more talking. That is our motto for the week. I'm ready. Let's go. See you all in the next one. Bye. Bye. Before we truly go, I want to reiterate one thing about those bridge phrases. Some people worry they might sound like they are stalling or that they aren't prepared. But if you watch interviews with very successful people, CEOs, actors, politicians, they use these phrases constantly. It's a sign of a thoughtful communicator. It shows that you are being careful with your words because what you have to say is important. That's a great observation. It gives you a certain kind of gravitas or weight. It says, hold on, I'm thinking, and it's worth the wait. Exactly. So don't feel like you are being slow. Feel like you are being deliberate. It's a powerful shift in mindset. If you are struggling with a word, don't look down at your shoes. Look at the person, use a bridge phrase, and keep your head up. I love that. Look at the person, use a bridge phrase, and keep your head up. That's a great mantra for any learner. It really is. And it works at any level. Whether you are A2 or C1, these tools will always serve you. Because no matter how much English you know, there will always be a moment where you forget a word. It happens to me in my native language at least once a day. Me too. I think I forgot the word for remote control yesterday. I called it the black button thing for the TV. See? You were using circumlocution in your own language. We all do it. It's natural, it's normal, and it's totally okay. That makes me feel so much better. We're all just doing our best to be understood. That's all any of us are doing. So take a deep breath, forget about perfection, and just go talk to someone. I'm on it. 24-hour challenge starts now. Good luck, Tom. And good luck to everyone listening. You've got this. We believe in you. See you soon. Happy speaking. One last thing. Remember that the goal of these lessons isn't just to listen while you're busy, but to take these phrases and actually use them in your next conversation. Maybe even write down the 4 bridge phrases on a small piece of paper and keep it in your pocket. Just knowing they are there can give you a boost of confidence. That's a great tip. A little cheat sheet for your brain. It reminds you that you have a plan. Exactly. Preparation is the enemy of anxiety. When you have a plan for what to do when you get stuck, you stop being afraid of getting stuck. And when you stop being afraid, you stop getting stuck as often. It's a positive circle. It really is. The less I worry about it, the more naturally the words seem to flow. It's like my brain finally has space to breathe. That is the English mode we're aiming for. It's a beautiful place to be. We're so glad to be on this journey with all of you. Absolutely. It's a privilege to help you find your voice in English. We'll see you in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video. Keep going. You're making amazing progress. One topic at a time, one day at a time. Exactly. Bye for real now. Bye.